Hey, you guys, welcome back. It has been a long time since I've posted any videos. I'm quite aware of this, but I don't know, life stuff, mom stuff, work stuff, and it's been harder to just be able to sit down and make a video. Anyway, I'm here with my April update of my rolling 10 pan project pan, and I have one product that I'm rolling out, and that's exciting. Let's just see how we did. I'm going to start with my eyeliners. For both of these eyeliners, my goal is to get halfway down from where I was when I brought them in. So my Wet n Wild copper eyeliner, which is a very nice like everyday eyeliner, I am up to this purple line right here. So I definitely used it a lot over the past month, and you can tell in the progress there, the progress lines, and I'm trying to get down to that line. So it's definitely coming along. An Avon Black, this eyeliner right here, which has a blue lid, which I never understood. So now I'm at that line right here, so that has been getting decent progress. My goal is to get to this line right here, but I also want to mention that this is really easy to sharpen because it gets dull really fast because it's so creamy. So it's a mix of like sort of using it a lot, but also having to sharpen it a lot more often, so the progress line does come down quickly. So in terms of numbers, I've used copper 12 times since the last update, and I've used Avon Black 6 times since the last update. So it really hasn't been nearly as much as copper. Either way, I'm happy it's coming down. Let's go to the contour stick by Sonia Kashuk that I am trying to finish. So this guy is down to here now. It's like really shrinking. A lot more visibly these days. And this I used 21 times since my last update, and looking at the comparison photos, which I use my Z palette to kind of measure like the visual progress, it is actually unveiling the next letter, which is T, I think. Which I was really surprised about that because usually, like, each update, I never see it come down that much. But I don't know if I've just been using it a lot more. I think 21 times is a lot more, so maybe that's why. We're not complaining about that. So you might kill me over this, but I plan on digging this out of the tube. But I will no longer be making updates on it once I get to a point where I have to start digging it out. So I won't torture you guys talking about this for like another 3 years. That sounds crazy. I don't know how much longer I will keep this after I start digging it out, because here's the thing. I don't feel like buying a cream contour stick. I just don't. And this one works pretty well. I might just declutter it too because it's also just really old, and like maybe I do need to update my cream contour situation. I do really like this shade of contour on me. It is a bit on the warm side, and I'd be very interested to see how a cooler tone contour stick would look on me. Because this almost has like a bronzing effect to it, even though it's like marketed, well, was marketed, they don't make it anymore, as a contour stick. And I'm just interested to see what like a cooler looking contour would look like. And I heard the matchsticks by Rihanna were really good, and she makes cool toned contour sticks. Those have been out for a really long time now, but that's how behind I am with like buying makeup and stuff. So there you go. All right, moving on. We have the Too Faced Peach Perfect powder, which I am trying to finish all the way. For this, I don't count usage. I just mark it up every month. And now I'm down to this line down here. So that's like a huge gap. And I always said, like, once it started getting really low, like towards the bottom, you would probably see the progress more and more. And finally, that's starting to happen. But yeah, I also tried to make sure that everything was even all the way across, because sometimes it settles funny in the front and then it looks like you used up more than you actually did. But yeah, that's actually where we're at now. So, and I can tell that this is running lower because it's harder to like shake product out. I'm excited about that because I have 6 powders right now, including this one that I'm trying to finish and get through, which will take me a long time. But again, I don't feel like buying finishing powders right now, so I'm more than happy to have a little stash of them, but I also need to start like kicking some out and using them up. So great. Still a nice powder, still like it, does its job, so no complaints there. But yeah, we'll be very happy when that thing is done too, because I want to move on to like other powders and stuff. Lip products, we have the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in Abu Dhabi. This I used 8 times since the last update. Did remove the stopper from this. There's a lot of product in here, a lot. And it's gonna take me a couple of months, I think, to finish this, to be real with you. It's a great like neutral everyday mauve-y kind of nude color. It's easy to wear most days. I just think sometimes I want to switch things up like anybody else who does a project pan. So I only got 8 uses out of it, which isn't terrible, but you know, it's going to take me a while to finish this. Also kind of feeling a little slippery sometimes and a little just, I don't know, not as matte as you would expect it to be, which that's also not a bad thing because I don't like when my products are too matte because then they get too dry, like on the lips. It starts feeling like, but yeah, I don't know. It's not the most interesting lip product, but it's a handy one too, so we're getting through it, but there's still a bunch left. I can tell. I can definitely get a lot more product out of that. Birthday Suit by Too Faced, the sample that I got one year for my birthday, however many years ago that was. This I used 7 times since the last update. Very, very pretty color. And 7 times, I think that was more than last time. Last time I only used it 4 times. So this is one of those lipsticks that goes back and forth. It cycles through. But I found a way I really like to use it. I'm wearing it today and I'm mixing it with NYX Tiramisu. This is not in the project. But I've been kind of wanting to pan some NYX lip glosses, butter glosses that I've had. So it actually works really well with that. Wearing it today, like this combo a lot. So it's great to get use out of other products as well as I'm trying to pan the ones I'm trying to pan. So yeah, the lid's all cracked up, but whatever, we're still using it. And I'm just so happy I found another combo for this that I really, really like that is not just this by itself. Because sometimes that can be a little tricky to navigate using this by itself because it's such a like, I don't know, it's like a very pale, opaque color and you have to be very like intentional about how you want to wear it and a little bit more thinking there. So we're happy that I found a combination I liked. The last lip product in this project is MAC's Half Red. So this is just a medium red shade. Half Red is a perfect name for it. But yeah, I only used this 3 times since the last update. And my goal with this is to trim it down a little bit from where it started, I guess. Not a super creamy formula. So it's not like the Avon Black eyeliner that you have to sharpen like every time you use it pretty much. This one is tough to go down. I've been very intentional about applying it like straight on as opposed to like this, just so that you can get that tip down a little bit more. But then again, I also only used it 3 times last month. So this is not my favorite formula for a lip liner because I use my lip liners as lipsticks. So predominantly that's how I use them. And I just want something a little bit creamier, you know? So I have to like mix it with other stuff and it's just not a color I'm gravitating towards these days. I do think this is handy for like making other shades darker as well. So I don't know what's going on with this. I could see myself pushing this out of the project maybe next month, depending on how this month goes. So that's where it was when it started. That was February and March, and it's still up to that line. I really like my products to kind of go in my little container a certain way, and this one just stands out like a sore thumb compared to everything else. And yeah, just trying to trim it down, but that might not be a realistic thing, especially if I don't want to wear it that much. So let's talk about perfume. So the perfume I was trying to finish up was Love Struck by Vera Wang, and guess what? I finished it. It is now done all the way. I'm so excited to push another perfume out of my collection. It was up to here the last update, and I finished it. So definitely was very intentional about using this every single day as much as possible because I wanted to get it out. It was a really nice perfume. It was like kind of fruity but also floral, you know, like one of those hybrids, and it was nice. I got it so long ago though. I think it was like 2012. I know, it's like over 10 years old and it's still going. I mean, it doesn't smell off at all, like, so I store it in a dark place like most of my perfumes when I'm not using them, and it's been fine. But yeah, it's not something I probably would get today, but it was nice enough to like finish it and push it out. So I'm just really glad it's gone. It didn't really start with a ton of product in it. Like it was up to here, but you know, it just took a long time. Even with like thinking I was using it a lot, you can see by the little like progress dots there. And then finally I like got real serious about it. So to be fair, I was using other perfumes and you know how it goes. So just, yeah, lovely perfume, but definitely not something I would buy today at all, even though it is a pretty smell. Okay, so that's cool. One rollout. So next we have a highlighter from the Revolution Iconic Lights and Contour Pro Contour Palette. Oh my god. So in my quest to hit pan in more of my palettes that I have, including face palettes, I wanted to pan this shade right here. This is a very low glow everyday highlighter, which is so hard to swatch because that's how low maintenance this thing is, or just very low glow, like I said. Very pretty, but now you can kind of see it. Yeah, so I wanted to hit pan in that because I felt like I could actually use that every single day. But what I find myself doing is actually mixing it with this white highlighter right here, which is more pearly, a little bit more visible. So I find that these two together have been working really nicely as well, which I'm excited because I always want to get more use out of this shade because it's such a pretty highlight shade. So for this shade, I used 21 times since the last update, which is a lot. Like that's like most of the month. So that just goes to show how much I like it. And I can definitely see, or just how usable it is. And I can definitely see more of a rim in there, especially compared to last month, which I think I have a picture this time, so check that out. And I don't know, maybe next month I will hit pan in that because I can definitely see a ring, but I know rings can be very deceiving. So we'll see if I hit pan sometime soon-ish, maybe 2 months, 1 month, we'll see. So been enjoying that. Easy one to use. And then the one eyeshadow I had in the project was from the Tarte Litten Blue palette, and I picked the shade Flower Child, which is this kind of bone colored eyeshadow right here. And I used that 24 times, which is also a lot since the last update, which is when I rolled it in actually. So yeah, I've been finding that to be a very practical eyeshadow for setting down eye primer, which I actually have been using this glitter primer more. I do want to be mindful that this isn't just collecting dust. So I've been using this more even though I haven't been using glitter just to use it. And I think it's been working pretty well as just like a normal eye primer. That actually came from my makeup insanity. I think she said that she was thinking that this might work as a regular primer if you set it with a regular eyeshadow, and I think she's right, which makes sense because I feel like if it can hold glitter in place, why not your eyeshadow? So it has been working so far, which I'm thrilled. And yeah, a little bit more of a dip in this shadow than there was last time, which I'll try to put comparison pics up from last month. So I'm happy about it. It's been a very useful eyeshadow. You can use it pretty much any time, every day. Like, it's great. So I'm glad I picked that. I'm glad, too, that it's a matte shadow and not a shimmer shadow, which tends to be easier for me. So mattes are a little bit more tricky, but this one is a mix of a challenge because it's not shimmer, but not so much of a challenge because it's usable every day. So there you go. And since I am pushing out the perfume because I finished it, I decided to roll in a blush this time for this project. And yes, I'm going with Benefit's Dallas. This I've pulled into projects, I feel like maybe Deck of Panning a couple times or just in Shop My Stashes. And I've had this for a couple of years now, as most of my makeup I've had for a couple of years now. And there's starting to be a little bit of a dip. I pulled this into a Shop My Stash last month. I haven't filmed a Shop My Stash in a while, so you didn't miss that or anything. But I just wanted to get more use out of it in general because I just like never knew how I felt about it. It's just like a plummy blush that I'm not sure if that's like my thing right now or not. And sometimes I don't think it is and I want to declutter it. And then sometimes I feel like it's fine and nice enough and whatever. So I was originally thinking I wanted to hit pan in this, but then I was having flashbacks to my Wet n Wild blush from last year, and I just don't want to spend that much time with the same blush. However, I want to see more progress in this, like a bigger dip. It's starting to have a small dip in there. You can't really see it, but I'm going to go for 40 uses on this, which I don't think will be hard because I use blush every day, and I don't really have this huge yearning to switch out blushes that often, and I've been using this all last month and it's been fine. So I think 40 is realistic. I think I can knock that out maybe in like 2 or 3 months. We shall see, but I think that will give me a good mix of decent usage without having to like bang my head against the wall because I'm trying to pan it, because that just takes way too long for me right now. And while I would love to see another pan and a blush, I don't know if this is the time for me to do that right now. I think I just want to like enjoy myself with my collection and not talk about the same blush for the next 2 years because I'm trying to hit pan, but we'll see where 40 uses gets us, and who knows, maybe in the future I will want to pan this. I could see myself wanting to do that too. So yeah, that's my roll-in. I know I haven't been the most consistent on here, especially over the last month, over the past couple months, but it kind of is what it is right now. I'm just, you know, doing what I can, and I appreciate you for sticking around, and I'm just kind of going with my life right now and not making any crazy promises, but trying to be consistent with my at least once a month uploads at this point. I just appreciate you guys for sticking around, even though I might not be the most consistent on here. I still enjoy watching people's updates. I just don't get to spend as much time on YouTube as I would ultimately like to, but I'm trying to find balance for myself and what works for me right now. So, thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys will maybe subscribe and like this video and see where we're at next month with my project pan. Bye!